one dimensional motion. In fact, in this one dimensional motion, the unit name what you have in NCERT is linear motion. Linear motion. Now, those who have attended my classes earlier in mechanics or even our other teachers, they should understand that every one dimensional motion has to be linear only, but not necessarily all linear motions are one dimensions. Let's say this is XYZ coordinate system. If a particle is moving in linear manner, okay, it can have two dimensions as well as three dimensions, okay, but every one dimensional motion has to be linear only, because we know motion in general you can classify into various categories. First is based on number of dimensions, number of dimensions, okay. Second, based on the path followed by particle, path followed by particle. So number of dimensions, in number of dimension you can say you can have 1D motion, two dimensional motion as well as three dimensional motion, okay. Let me invite other students also. So one dimension, two dimension and three dimensional motion we can have. Based on path followed we can have a linear motion as well as we can have curvilinear motion, okay, curvilinear motion. Now again in curvilinear motion you can have motion through an arc or a circle. So especially we have this circular motion, and we have one more category which we study, which is parabolic motion. Parabolic motion. Now both this we will be studying under the category of motion in a plane, okay, motion in a plane. Now what we have to study in this unit is a particle is moving in a straight line, and that straight line motion is either in x direction or in y direction or in z direction. It is simultaneously not in xy, not in yz. That will become a two-dimensional motion, which we will be discussing in the next unit, okay. So in order to start this unit we must understand the basic parts or basic definitions, okay. So prior to that, what are the topics we are going to cover in this unit? You can note it down. Topics to be covered, topics to be covered. Topics to be covered are: first, basic definition, basic definitions. We will cover basic definitions very quickly. Will not be writing or investing much time on these definitions, considering that you know all these definitions. Then we will define what is instantaneous velocity and instantaneous acceleration. Now velocity and acceleration definitions we will see in these basic definitions. Also we will define one part called as average velocity and acceleration. We will study kinematic equations, in this. After discussing kinematic equations, we will study few graphs, because they may ask you questions based on graphs as well. After studying graphs, we will see 1D motion in vertical direction. In vertical direction, very critical point of this unit. So that will conclude our chapter, okay. So starting with definitions, what are the definitions we must know in this unit? The first definition we should know is a motion. When we call a particle is moving, when we say a particle is moving, let us say this is x versus t, x versus t. Now as the time progresses, okay, as the time progresses, if if the position of the particle is also changing, okay, position of the particle is also changing, then we say the particle is moving. So motion is nothing but a process of change of position, change of position of a particle or any object which you are considering in that case. Okay. So second part which we should know is the distance and displacement. Distance and displacement. Okay. Now what is distance, or commonly it is also called as path distance? So the total amount of distance the particle which is traveling, we when we refer it is path distance, the total distance when particle is traveling from its initial position to final position, initial position to final position is considered as distance or path distance. Okay, distance or path distance. So it's simply a distance. Okay, a particle is, let's say, initially at point A and then it has gone to point B. Okay, so suppose if I have a particle moving in a straight line starting from 0, then it goes to A, then it goes to B, then it again goes to C. Okay, then it comes back to D. So the total distance will become OA plus AB plus BC plus CD. So it is independent of whether particle is moving in forward direction or reverse direction. It is simply a number or scalar quantity which doesn't depend on the direction. Okay, that is path distance. Now what is displacement? Displacement is nothing but the shortest distance between initial and final position, as we know, initial and final position. So let's say if A is the initial position and D is the final position, then this distance is called as displacement. Okay, so remember this displacement is a vector quantity, okay, and distance is a scalar quantity. Also you can always remember displacement displacement is a vector quantity and distance is a scalar quantity. Also you can remember one thing, displacement will always be what you can say is lesser than equal to path distance. In some cases path distance and displacement will be equal, not always. Okay, in most of the cases displacement will be lesser than the distance. At the max you can have displacement equal to distance. Okay, fine. So after discussing these two basic quantities, now we have a third important quantity which we refer as velocity. Now how we define velocity? Velocity is nothing but displacement of a particle per unit time. Displacement of a particle per unit time. Remember, as displacement is a vector quantity, velocity is also a vector quantity measured in meter per second. However, there is one more analogous quantity we have in physics, speed. Okay, analogous, I said, it is not same quantity as that of velocity. Speed is a scalar quantity which is actually a ratio of distance per unit time. So velocity is displacement per unit time, speed is distance per unit time, and and velocity is vector quantity, speed is a scalar quantity. Now here these definitions you have learned already in 9th standard. Here what you are learning especially is a term called as average velocity. Average velocity. Now what is this average velocity? Let us say I am defining a motion of a particle in x direction with respect to time. So let us say initially particle is moving at x1, then it is going to x2, then it is going to x3, then it is going to x4 in time t1, t2, t3 and t4. Okay. Now if I will plot the graph, I can plot these points. Okay. Now if I'll find out what is the average velocity or what is the average rate at which the particle was moving from or between x2 to x3, between x2 to x3, the average rate at which the particle was moving from x2 to x3 was given by average velocity, which is x3 minus x2, that is final position minus initial position for this limit, divided by time taken by the particle. Now what is the total time taken by the particle? It is definitely t3 minus t2. This is the average velocity. Okay, so x3 minus x2 divided by t3 minus t2. In short, we can say, or in common we can say, x2 minus x1 divided by t2 minus t1, or x final minus x initial divided by t final minus t initial is the expression for average velocity. Is the expression for average velocity. Now the next thing what we have to define is acceleration and average acceleration. Okay, acceleration and average acceleration. What is acceleration first of all? Acceleration. Acceleration usually denoted by A is nothing but change in velocity per unit time. Change in velocity per unit time, or it is also called as rate of change of velocity. Okay, rate of change of velocity. Change of velocity. Okay. Now, if I am defining from the previous case, if I know at x2 and t2, that is at position x2 and time t2, velocity is v2, and at position x3 and t3 the velocity is v3, then I can find out average acceleration by v3 minus v2 divided by t3 minus t2. Okay, so what is average acceleration? Final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken by the particle. Okay, so I can say v final minus v initial divided by t final minus t initial gives me average acceleration. Average acceleration. Okay, so these are some of the basic things which you have already learnt in 9th standard. Now let's move on to some further mature concepts which we have to discuss. First is instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity. Now what do you mean by instantaneous velocity? The name itself suggests instantaneous velocity is the velocity defined at specific instant of time. Okay, so always remember it is defined at specific instant of time. Okay, specific instant of time. Now how it is calculated or how it is mathematically defined? If x is given as function of t. Now see, we are learning linear motion, but always you can't say x is directly proportional to t and we are going to get this kind of a graph. Okay, we are going to get this kind of a graph, linear graph. We may get this kind of a graph, we may get this kind of a graph. Okay, because we, even though we are studying linear motion, it is not required always x is directly proportional to t. Sometime we may have x is directly proportional to t square. Sometime they'll give you x is equal to ab plus t square into c. Okay, this kind of a relation. So what it represents, that if x is given as function of time, then instantaneous velocity at particular instant is given by rate of change of position per unit time, that is dx by dt, derivative of x with respect to t at given time t is equal to t1, at given time t is equal to t1. Okay, now for example, if they give me x is equal to 3t plus 2t square and they are asking me to find out what is instantaneous velocity at t is equal to 2 seconds. In that case, what I will do, first I will differentiate this to get dx by dt. Dx by dt is equal to, what will be the answer? 3 plus 4t. So if I substitute t is equal to 2 second here, I'll get one value of velocity, that is v, t is equal to 2 second, and that value will be 8 plus 3, that is 11 second, 11 meter per second. Okay, 11 meter per second. This is instantaneous velocity at t is equal to 2 second. Okay, now graphically, if I have x versus t graph, graphically if I have x versus t graph, and if that graph is something like this, at any particular point, if I draw a tangent, okay, slope of that tangent, remember once again, now here we have plotted x on x axis and t on y axis. So if we reverse this, t on x axis and x on y axis, if I am plotting, then slope of this tangent drawn to the curve, okay, drawn to the tx curve, gives us instantaneous velocity. Slope of a tangent drawn to the curve at any point where t is on x axis and x is on y axis, otherwise it will become reciprocal of the slope. Okay, fine. Next term what we have to learn is instantaneous acceleration. Now instantaneous acceleration is what? What is instantaneous acceleration? Instantaneous acceleration. What is instantaneous acceleration? Now suppose if x is given as function of time, I can find out instantaneous velocity as dx by dt. Similarly, we can have instantaneous velocity also as a function of time. So if this is the case, then acceleration instantaneous, acceleration at given point or given instant is given by dv instantaneous by dt. Okay, dv instantaneous by dt. So instantaneous acceleration is calculated at single point, average acceleration is calculated between t1 to t2, between or for a time interval. So if x is function of t, I can say, what I can say, if x is function of t, I can say v instantaneous is equal to dx by dt and a instantaneous is equal to dv by dt, or I can even say d square x by dt square, d square x by dt square. Now by using these these definitions or these basic terms, we have three kinematic equations, okay, kinematic equations, and these kinematic equations here I'll be deriving by considering or by assuming one thing, that kinematic equations of motion, kinematic equations of motion with constant acceleration, with constant acceleration. Now there are many methods to define it, okay, I will not be going into derivations because you know already how to derive them. Our concern in crash course is to apply them, okay, but if anyone is interested, you can go through the previous lecture or NCERT. The first kinematic equation we write as V is equal to U plus AT, where V is final velocity, U is initial velocity, and A is acceleration. Need not to tell you what is T. So V is equal to U plus AT is the first equation of motion. The second equation of motion, what we write is S is equal to ut plus half of AT square, ut plus half of AT square. This is second equation of motion. And third equation of motion we write as V square is equal to U square plus 2as. Third equation of motion we write as V square is equal to U square plus 2as. So remember these three equations. Now if I just want to write it in vector format, I can say this V bar is equal to U bar plus A bar T. Okay, again S bar or R bar in that case you can say is U bar T plus half A bar T square, and V bar square is equal to U bar square plus 2 A bar S bar. Okay, so these are three kinematic equations, remember them. By using these three kinematic equations we are going to solve few questions. Now let us work out few previous year questions based on what we have learned so far in kinematic equations. So we are only left with two parts to discuss: graphical discussion and vertical motion. But before that we will solve some problem and then we will go to those points as well. Okay, so let me start with pretty easy or simple question, examination NEET 2012. So they are saying the motion of a particle along a straight line, is described by the equation x is equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. So this is the relation they have given. X is equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. Okay, where x is in meters and t is in seconds, and they are asking the retardation of the particle, See retardation, what do you mean by retardation? Retardation is nothing but negative acceleration, acceleration with negative sign is retardation. The retardation of the particle when velocity becomes zero, So this question was asked in NEET 2012. This is the given relation, and what they are asking you to find out, they are asking you if x is equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube, you have to find out what is retardation when velocity becomes 0. Now you can consider, JEE students can consider this as integer type of question as well, because it will have a finite answer. However, I will give you answers 24 meter per second square, not answers, options I will give you. 24 meter per plus meter per second square, B 0, C 6 meter per second square, and D 12 meter per second square. So 4 answers I got. Hope others are also working out. Okay. So how to solve this type of problem? How to solve this type of problem? See what they have given. They have given a simple equation: x is equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. Now if I will find out expression for instantaneous velocity, it will be dx by dt, and it is given by 12 minus 3t square. Let me call this as equation number 1. And acceleration instantaneous I want to find out, which will be d square x by dt square or dv by dt, both are same, and it will be what? Minus 6 into t. This is option equation number 2. Now they are asking me what is value of acceleration when velocity becomes 0. So let me equate this to 0. Equation 1 is equal to 0. 12 minus 3t square is equal to 0. So 3t square is equal to 12. So t is equal to what? T is equal to plus minus 2, but time cannot be negative. So t is equal to 2 seconds. Now this t is equal to 2 seconds. If I am substituting here, I'll be getting instantaneous acceleration is minus 6 into 2, that is minus 12 meter per second square. But as they have mentioned, it is retardation. It was supposed to be in negative only. So answer is 12 meter per second square. So option D for us. Option D for us. Okay. I hope all of you have understood this. And we will go to the next question. Now next question what they did, they have tricked it a bit. AIPMT, 2010 question. They are saying a particle moves a distance x in time t. X in time t. According to equation. According to equation. X is equal to t plus 5 to the power minus 1. T plus 5 to the power minus 1. Okay. Full stop. The acceleration of particle is proportional to. Acceleration of particle is proportional to. Options are v to the power 3 by 2, that is velocity to the power 3 by 2. Options B, distance square. C, distance to the power minus 2. Distance to the power minus 2. And D, velocity to the power 2 by 3. Velocity to the power 2 by 3. Okay. Okay. I'm up. Those who tried, well done. But somewhere you must have gone wrong. Okay. Now see, usually they give you x is a function of t. The same way here also they have given, right? Here also they said the same thing. X is given as function of time, but it is given to you in slight different manner. Okay. And that has confused you. X is equal to t plus 5 to the power minus 1. So can I write it as 1 by t plus 5? Yes, 1 by t plus 5. So even you can mention it as t plus 5 to the power minus 1. Now suppose if I am finding instantaneous velocity, okay, instantaneous velocity will be given by dx by dt. If I'll differentiate this, you know, if x is equal to or y is equal to 1 by x, dy by dx is equal to minus 1 by x square, right? What is the value? What is the value we get? How we find out? If this is 1 by x, so it will become x to the power minus 1. So suppose if you have y is equal to 1 by x square, then how we write this? We either try to take it as d by dx to the power x to the power minus 2, and we know the answer will be minus 2 into x to the power minus 2 minus 1, right? So it will become minus 2x minus 2 by x cube, okay, t plus 5 to the power minus 1. So how we will differentiate this? We know if y is equal to x to the power n, dy by dx is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1, right? So what will happen? Here dx by dt will become minus 1 by t plus 5 to the power 2. Okay, so this is your v value. Okay, I will call this as equation 1. Now what I am looking for? I am looking for an acceleration, right? So I know acceleration is equal to what? D square x by dt square or dv by dt, right? So I have to differentiate this one more time. So what I should do? I should differentiate this one more time, as I said. So it is minus 1, okay. If I will differentiate, it is d by dt of minus 1 into t plus 5 to the power minus 2, right? So now this minus minus will become plus. It will become 2 into t plus 5 to the power minus 3, or I can say it is 2 divided by t plus 5 cube. Okay. Now the concern is, I know already that v is equal to minus 1 by t plus 5 square. Okay, I can write this as 2 into, okay, 2 into what I can write this as? I can write this as either in terms of x, or I can write it in terms of v. So what you will arrange for this? 2 into 1 by t plus 5 the whole square multiplied by 1 by t plus 5, right? Okay, now what I can do, I can multiply and divide by minus 1. That won't make any difference. So multiplied by minus 1 divided by minus 1. So I'll just add negative sign to it. Minus 2 into, what is this minus 1 by t plus 5 square? It is nothing but v. Okay, v. And what is this 1 divided by t plus 5? It is x. So what you will answer is minus 2 into v into x. Now in the given options we have either it is v to the power 3 by 2, okay, or distance square, or distance to the power minus 2, or velocity to the power 2 by 3. So you have to either keep it in terms of velocity or in terms of displacement. So what you will do, how you will adjust it further? If I have equation of velocity as v is equal to minus t plus 5 to the power 2, okay, Now suppose if I am raising power on both sides, if I am raising power on this is -2, okay, if I am raising power on both sides by 3 by 2, what I'll be getting? I'll be getting v to the power 3 by 2 is equal to minus t plus 5 to the power, okay, to the power what? Suppose if I am raising power on both sides by 3 by 2, okay, I'll be getting -2 into 3 by 2, 3 by 2, 2 gets cancelled, and I'll be having v to the power 3 by 2 is equal to minus t plus 5 cube, okay, minus t plus 5 cube. Now what I got here is acceleration is equal to, okay, acceleration is equal to, I got it as -2 divided by t plus 5 to the power -2 divided by t plus 5 to the power 3, okay. Now I know this t plus 5 to the power 3 or minus with minus sign is nothing but v to the power 3 by 2. So by considering that, what I'll be able to get? So acceleration I'll be able to get it as -2, okay, into v to the power 3 by 2. But is it there in the option? Area acceleration is equal to v to the power 3 by 2. Is it there in the option? Which option it is? V to the power 3 by 2 is there. Okay, you can try this question. A car moves from x to y. A car moves from x to y. A car is moving from x to y. Okay. With uniform speed of vu. And returns to y. And returns vu. X to y with uniform speed of vu. Okay, and returns to x, it should be, there is a misprint, and returns to x with uniform speed of vd. Okay, so what is average speed of this journey? What is average speed of this journey? Okay, options what they have given is root of vu vd, b vd vu by vd plus vu, c is vu plus vd by 2, okay, d 2 vd vu divided by vd plus vu, okay. See, average speed, how we calculate average speed? Remember, average speed is speed we are calculating, so speed average is nothing but total distance, okay, by total time. Now say from x to y, the car or whatever object which is traveling has taken t1 amount of time, and with velocity speed, sorry, again I'm saying speed vu, it has traveled from x to y, okay. So I can write a relation this distance d by T1 is equal to VU. Okay, or I can say D is equal to VU T1. Okay, now second thing is that again while coming from y to x, okay, that is d by T2 is equal to VD. So again I can say D is equal to this thing, but the concern is the time what they have given are different. So I want to find out their relations. So suppose if I am expressing this T1 is nothing but d by VU and T2 is nothing but d by VD. Now total distance S average is equal to total distance is nothing but 2D divided by d by VU plus d by VD. So d I can take common and cancel. 2 divided by VD plus VU divided by VU VD. So S average is nothing but 2 VD VU divided by VD plus VU. So this is your answer. Okay, that is option D, I guess. So how many of you got option D?